Hi, Brian and Carrie. How are you guys? I hope you're doing well today. So first of all, I wanted to say I hadn't forgotten about recording my video for you guys. This week, every time Grayson has been napping, I've been on a call with you. So here it is, and getting ready to go into my story about influence. So I want to tell you a little bit about my childhood and how influence has affected my life. So I see influence as being two ways. I mean, there's many ways, but for me, two ways. The obvious influences and then the very subtle influences that we don't always recognize. So in my childhood, I spent a lot of time in and out of the hospital. I spent so much time there that by the time I was 3 years old, my parents had actually lost count in how many surgeries I had had. So for me, spending that much time in the hospital meant a lot of one-on-one time with my parents, which was good. And I am very lucky to have amazing parents. So the stories that they told me and how they taught me to deal with my mindset and the perspective on what I was going through was quite powerful. And I'm sure they recognized what they were doing at the time. I did not recognize what they were doing at the time. But a lot of the lessons that they taught me have stuck with me for life. And I actually did a live stream about one of them that my father had taught me about just earlier this week. No, at the end of last week. So last Thursday, I believe it was. So those to me are the really obvious influences. When we have direct conversations with people that either we recognize right away that they've influenced us, or down the road we recognize that they've influenced us in the way that they've spoken or the actions that they have taken that we recognize. And then on the flip side, we have the subtle influences. So for me, I am number 2 in the lineup of 3 girls in our family. So I'm in the middle. I have an older sister and a younger sister. And to me, they were perfect. Neither of them had any physical issues that they were dealing with. They needed no surgeries, no doctor's appointments. I also had a lot of learning disabilities, so we were always having meetings at the school. And they didn't. So to me, in my eyes, they were perfect. And I was always trying to prove myself within our family. And again, that was all done very subtly. They weren't doing anything wrong. They weren't making me feel inferior in any way, shape, or form. But I felt it. I felt like I was always the one who needed the extra attention, the one who needed the extra appointments and the doctor's help and the teacher's help and the extra help from my parents. And although I was being brought up with those good messages from my parents, it was those subtle influences from my siblings that I was naturally comparing myself to them all the time. And that pushed me in not necessarily, sometimes in a good way, not necessarily always in a good way. So there was a lot of times that I felt, like I said, that I had to prove myself, and I was always striving to be better, striving to be more perfect in every area of my life. And yes, that has led to some really great things happening in my life, but at the same time, it's an overall stress that I have carried my entire life, simply based on the influences of having siblings that I was comparing myself to. So it can come in the good, in the bad, and yes, we get positive and negative reactions and experiences from them, but those influences can be very obvious, and they can also be really subtle, and we don't even recognize them until later in life. So that is my mini explanation and story about influence. And let me know if you have any feedback or any questions for me on those terms. And I will see you guys on our Tuesday call. Have a great day.